why I've already dropped Netflix. Hello and welcome to this week's video. Now, those of you who watched my 2021 overview just a few weeks ago will know that I said I'd actually started subscribing to Netflix middle-ish last year, around about August. I mean, I had like a really old school TV for like 18 years, from 1996 to 2014. When it finally conked out, there was no way of getting it repaired, so I had to upgrade to a HD TV, a big widescreen one. At that point, I think the smart TVs were just coming in, and it was still a bit expensive, and I'm like, screw that. I just, I just want a TV. So I just bought a standard HD TV. That one conked out like July last year, so I had to buy a new one, and I bought a smart TV, because they're pretty much all smart TVs now, even though it was still one of the cheapest that I could get. It was a smart TV, and now after about a month of procrastinating, I thought, you know what, I can get Netflix. I'll give it a try. If I don't like it, and it's only monthly, so if I don't like it, I'll stop having it. Now, when I started it, it was a great success at first in my house. First month or so, maybe even the first 2 months, I was basically watching it pretty much every night. Now, one of the main things was Star Trek Voyager, because it had all of the original Star Treks from the original series through to Enterprise. It also had Discovery, which I watched about 10 minutes of the first episode, and I went, nah. Now, I've got most of the Star Treks. I've got most of the original Star Treks on DVD or Blu-ray. But I haven't got Voyager, and I haven't seen it since it finished. I haven't seen it since, the 90s, the early 2000s. And I was kind of interested in seeing it again, though I didn't really want to necessarily fork out to buy the DVDs, because it's like $30 per season, 7 seasons. That's a lot of money. And I thought, well, $17 a month on Netflix, that's going to save me a lot of money just to go through Voyager. So, first off, I was binging on Voyager, and then I found some other things, stuff like the Chestnut Man and Fear Street, and there was enough the first few months for me to basically be watching it all the time. I was so getting into it that I even subscribed to Stan, which is an Australian streaming service. Now, to be fair, they didn't have that much that I was really that interested in. One of the main things that they had was they had Buffy in HD. Now, I know that the Buffy HD has gotten a lot of flack. From what I could watch, I'm not entirely sure why. I'm sure there's reasons, but I watched season 3. I didn't watch any of the early seasons, and I didn't watch any of the later seasons, because it was about time for me to watch season 3 anyway. And the difference in picture quality and presentation of the HD one and the DVDs on a big HD TV was absolutely massive. And I thought it looked great. I don't know. I don't know what the problems are supposed to be, if they're on other seasons, but I thought season 3 looked absolutely fabulous, and I really enjoyed watching that. Now, unfortunately, after the first few months, it all just kind of tailed off. After I'd finished watching Voyager on Netflix, and after I'd finished watching Buffy season 3, I started not watching it that much. It just kind of started to fall away. Now, Stan have actually lost for freaking Buffy. I think it's gone to Disney or something. I'm not subscribing to them anyway, so that was that. And Netflix, I don't know, after the first few months, it's like there's an awful lot of content, and I'm flicking through it, and it's taking me an hour, and I can't actually find anything that I really particularly want to watch. Now, what I did do late last year I actually subscribed to YouTube Premium because I got YouTube on my TV. It was really, I like watching YouTube on TV, but it was unbelievably annoying with the amount of adverts. I mean, it was absolutely at the point of ridiculousness, the level of adverts. You'd have adverts, and then you get 10 seconds of what it is you're watching, and then it'd be adverts again. It's like, this is completely freaking unwatchable. And eventually I kind of went, you know what? I'll try, again, it's only like $17 a month or something. Okay, I'll try YouTube Premium. And honestly, when I'm not watching my DVDs or Blu-rays, I'm watching YouTube on my TV. It's just, and it got to the point where the last month I was not watching Netflix. I was not watching Stan. If I'm not watching my collection, I'm watching YouTube. And it came to kind of like the time when it was near to kind of, your monthly subscription renewal. And I thought, why am I paying this? I have literally not watched either of them in like 6 weeks. So what's the point? And I mean, another thing, like YouTube, you can actually get like new movies to watch. I mean, you can buy them or you can rent them that aren't necessarily on there. I mean, Malignant. That was that I reviewed in the 2021 overview, which I saw late last year. That was something that I wanted to see. I didn't go to the cinema. It hasn't even come out on DVD or Blu-ray here yet, and Netflix hasn't got it. And yet I can watch it. I can rent and watch it on YouTube. And there seems to be an awful lot of like new movies that you can do that, and they're coming on there quicker than they are on stuff like Netflix. So it's like, well, why am I bothering then? I mean, I can watch the standard YouTube vids, and if there is a movie that I want, I can always do that. I mean, there's even like old movies. There's some old movies on there that I'm thinking of renting that I've never seen. Stuff like the 80s The Fan with Lauren Bacall, and some 70s movies like Grizzly and Day of the Animals. And ordinarily I might buy them on Blu-ray, but they're absolutely ridiculous to buy on Blu-ray. They're like $50, $60, $70. I am not spending that much because they're like American only releases, like Scream Factory or something like that. And then the prices of delivery, it's just absurd. I can't afford that. I don't mind maybe paying up to $30 for a Blu-ray. When you get above that, you're into the realm of being ridiculous. But I can rent them or even buy them on HD for like between $5 to $13. And they're not on Netflix, but they are on YouTube. So it's like, well, okay, So yeah, I've reached the point where it was like, why am I continuing to subscribe to these streaming services when I'm not watching them? I'm either going back to watching my collection, which I've been adding to a bit more of late. I've actually bought a few the last few days. Some 70s, predominantly 80s movies, of course, that I've never seen before. I'm looking forward to seeing them. It's like, why am I bothering? YouTube Premium is pretty much, when I'm not watching my DVDs or Blu-rays, I'm watching YouTube. So I'm sorry, but it looks like it looks like the streaming revolution is already dead in my house. I just don't see the point in continuing to pay for something that I'm not using anymore. It was okay at first, it was great to rewatch Voyager after all these years, and it was great to see Buffy in HD season 3. But after that, I'm just kind of nah, I don't think we'll bother. So, yeah. So yeah, that's my story. I know it might seem like a strange topic for a video, but that's just what I wanted to talk about this week. The fact that I got all excited at first when I joined Netflix, and at first it seemed to be absolutely working, and then after a couple of months it was just like oh well, that's that. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you again next week.